Tom Neen's JPK 1180 Sunrise has been crowned overall winner of the Rolex Fastnet Race. After being confirmed as runaway winner of the IRC 2 division yesterday, no other boat on the 695 nautical mile course could catch the British boat for overall honours in this, the 49th edition, of the Royal Ocean Racing Club's Offshore Classic. Neen is the first British winner of the race since Charles Dunstone and his Maxi Nokia Enigma, in 2003. Reunited this morning with his 2-year-old son Sam, Neen couldn't hide the emotion of winning a race that has come to mean so much to him. I've had 24 hours to reflect on the race after we finished yesterday, and it really is all about the people, the amazing team that sailed with me, and my incredible partner Francesca, who has done so much to make this happen. For someone who only took up offshore racing just 7 years ago, Neen has come a long way in a short time. When he started, he admits, "I didn't know what IRC was. I'd never really heard of the RORC, but what I had heard of was the Rolex Fastnet Race. I was brought up in the southwest, and as a boy I used to sail dinghies at the Royal Western Yacht Club." By his own admission, Neen's first Rolex Fastnet race in 2015 was a comedy of errors aboard his second-hand, Elan 350 cruiser racer, called Sunrise. But he has proven to be a fast learner who has quickly worked out what it takes to put together a race-winning campaign. It doesn't really matter what level in the fleet you're at. As long as you have a good crew, and the right support, then you can win your class. And if you can win the class, you can win overall.
Well, we were very worried to watch the other people finishing, and we noticed that we just thought it was probably going to be better to stick it out and just keep the boat going, not disturb it. We think sail play might be coming up a bit fast, so so we're a bit worried about that, but no matter. It's great to be here, and just nice to hopefully we'll get a place, because if not, all credit to some of the beasts. And we should actually be racing in the Welsh IRCs tomorrow. So we're going to head back and then see if we can jump in the car and head up to North Wales. We must be nuts.
It was hard. It's been a really hard race. Hard because the conditions were tough, I personally get quite seasick, so I was very seasick on the first day. Two of us in particular were quite bad. The boat really does well in those big seas and windy conditions, but I'm the weak link in that, to be honest. We did a last minute change of plan and came south of Casquettes. Just because that was the right thing to do at the time, and that proved to pay dividends. And we built huge. I think we were doing 4 knots of boat speed and 10 knots over the ground. I mean, it's unbelievable the tide around here. So putting yourself in the right place at the right time is so important. When we got to the Casquettes TSS, we were worried that we were going to be punching tide in light breeze, and we knew there was this sort of this area of light pressure behind us. And all the way from the Scillies, we were sort of saying, it's about 10 miles behind us, we need to keep going, and we need to stay in this pressure. And we just drove it east as quickly as we possibly could in the conditions we had, and didn't have much sleep, but just kept the boat going. The amazing thing about this year, given all the challenges in life, the pandemic, COVID caused work problems, and then this boat and the team have just pulled together and have done amazing things. And so considering our first season of racing was 2014, 2015 was our first proper offshore season. I think we're quite baby in it really, but we have again, more by luck than judgment, pulled together an epic group of people that all contribute to the project and are all behind it. So I'm sure it will sink in, but it's all about the people. I think winning overall is the sort of once in a lifetime dream come true thing. Yeah, really difficult to kind of get your head around that as a potential reality.
Rambler 88, owned by George David, taking part in his 6th Rolex Fastnet race, has had 2 line honours and a dramatic loss of keel some 10 years ago. A tactical error at the Fastnet Rock, but paid to their chances this time round. With line honours in the Vendée Globe race, Charlie Dallin with Paul Mailhat on Apivia were IMOCA favourites.
What was very interesting for the start of this Rolex Fastnet race is that we had very strong wind, 25-30 plus of wind, but dead flat water in the western Solent, and that's conditions you basically never see. And the tide was helping us as well, so we could sail like a kind of a new mode, a mode we never use. It's foiling upwind, it's normally we cannot really do this. Once we sailed through the Ras Blanchard with the tide, the tide just changed direction and the gate was kind of closed on some of our competitors. The boats that were a bit behind already, like they just faced too strong of a tide to sail through, so they had to tack and sail north of the Cascais TSS. We just managed to get the right timing, and that was pretty amazing. It's a legendary race. It's not more complicated than this. It's a big history. It can be very difficult, the weather can be extreme, and that's my 3rd time competing in the Fastnet, my 2nd win. Yeah, since the race is going well, it's working well for me. So.
Sam Davies on Initiative Coeur, the IMOCA 60, is an English lady with a huge following in France, and they came 5th in class.
That was just incredible stuff. It was pretty scary. And then once we were out, the sea stoke was terrible. But Initiative Coeur is a boat that sailed around the world, and she's designed to handle that stuff. No problem. We've got a cockpit with a protection, like a roof over the top. The real ones who did that properly are the guys who haven't arrived yet, who are still out there, and we felt for them because for us it was kind of cheating and a little bit easy.
Adrian Keller's brand new 84-foot catamaran Allegra won on handicap in the Mocha fleet on its maiden race.
Well, actually the start itself was quite spectacular. With 30 knots into the tide, then coming out of Hearst Castle, the weather got really tough. But I will remember the Fastnet, although it was 0:45, pitch dark, but still to see that light from very close is it's unique. It's very special. That's a memory for a lifetime.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning off the eastern entrance to the Rade de Cherbourg, and a flurry of RC boats are battling strong currents and fluky winds. Leading the Figaro 3 fleet is the Irish RL Sailor.
We have a joke in the Figaros that we never reef, but we had a reef in the main and a reef in the jib for the first time ever, so so it's a pretty hairy start, but we had a really good leg out of the Solent, and we knew we came out of the Solent first Figaro, but we didn't really know after that. So
No, it's been a pretty tough race. It's had a lot of ups and downs, and then a shutdown yesterday, lower this evening around Guernsey, and then a slow finish as well. So
yeah, 2 big shutdowns in the last 2 days. It made it pretty challenging. We were pretty worried that people behind would catch up on us, but we managed to pull out.
A happy Kenneth Rumble and Pamela Lee, who finished over 5 hours ahead of their nearest rival. In the same pack of IRC boats was the JPK 1030 Leon, who had played second fiddle to Swell until the last 60 miles.
All the race was hard because a lot of tactical decision and a lot of wind also. So very difficult, and at the end a lot of different options, and we don't take the good one. So we have a little bit afraid for the finish, but it's a good happening. I think if we pass 1 hour later, we stay a lot of time here. So just for us.
Well done, congratulations.
Thank you.
Leon crossed the line just 17 minutes behind Henry Bromby and gold medalist Shirley Robertson aboard Swell, sealing Leon's win in both IRC3 and in the two-handed. A third time for Alexis Loison.
We didn't have the best start on a race that's going to last 5 days. We were over the line, a bit eager to get going, but we soon played catch up, and the first day was, I'm trying to forget it. It was pretty hard going, but it was a phenomenal race with, I mean, all kinds of weather and decisions, and sailing with Henry, amazing. What a talent.
Sailing all season, I don't think we saw more than 20 knots, so straight out into 30-35 knots was it was quite, blew away the cobwebs, but we were really quick actually in those conditions, but we went slightly the wrong way. So at Portland we were kind of 5 miles behind Alexi on Leon, which kind of put us on the back foot, but you know, we sailed so well to get that back in a race course that kind of was getting more favourable for the leaders. So yeah, really proud of how we sailed. You know, we've got a few little toys and stuff we put on the boat to try and make us go faster, and I think we used all of our box of tricks, didn't we? So it was good. We were fast at times, and yeah, it was really enjoyable. It was a really enjoyable race.
Well, I've done the Fastnet twice before, and it didn't really compare to this. This is a whole different way of doing it. I mean, intense, hard. You know, we're pretty tired. There's not a lot of sleep, and this little boat, you know, it's so lit up in those conditions as well. It was full on, and there was moments where we were just smiling, weren't we? Today, that massive long run down here was the best. It was such good fun, and yes, an intense 5 days.
Despite leading in both IRC3 and two-handed for much of the past 5 days, Swell took a well-deserved second. Just 5 hours later, leading the IRC4 fleet was an 18-year-old X332 TradingAdvices.com of Brest sailor Alan Grillinov. They take a win over some much newer high-tech craft.
Yes, it was very rough, especially for us, because we have a small boat, 10 meters, one of the smallest of the ROLEX Fastnet Race, so it was very hard for us. Yes. When we arrived to the Fastnet, we were only, I think, 11th in the class, so we have a change of the wind during, just when we arrived to the Fastnet Rock. Before arriving to the Fastnet Rock, we had a change of the wind, so we lost a little arriving to the Fastnet. But after the Fastnet, for us, it was a real great pleasure. Between the Fastnet and Scilly Island, with the spinnaker, the boat was very, very, very fast. For this, the race was really a very interesting race. We had a great pleasure during this race. Yes, really, with good competitors. And but this year we are first in IRC4. So it's a real success for us. Yes, good, very good, very happy.
C'est pas le résultat qu'on était parti chercher, ça c'est sûr. Et pour autant, on a fait tellement d'erreurs de positionnement que on a acheté des 1000 en paquet de 10. Je retiendrai ce départ à Cobes. Wow. Il y a beaucoup de monde, c'est chaud, mais ça passe. Et quelle course incroyable. Après, ce long bord qui rentre, qui va jusqu'en France, et où là, il fallait sauter les vagues, et c'était impressionnant. Passage du Fastnet quand même, qui est un moment toujours sympa. Ce caillou, il est incroyable, ce phare, et la lumière était jolie. Le reste, c'est des faits de course, c'est pas très grave. C'était aussi, avec Thomas Roxel et moi, une manière de peaufiner ce qu'on voudrait pour avoir comme bateau pour la Jacques Vabre. Et là, on va sortir de l'eau dans la foulée pour effectivement mettre en place donc des safrans à l'arrière qui vont être plus grands et qui vont nous permettre d'un meilleur contrôle, notamment dans les phases de vol. On a un mois pour finaliser ça et remettre à l'eau début septembre.
See this week's Sailing World on Water on YouTube or our website, boatson.tv.